Hello everyone, my name is Hannah. Welcome to a new reading vlog. This is going to be the first Realmathon reading vlog. So if you don't know, I am a co-host for this readathon called Realmathon, which is created by Cassidy over at Covers with Cassidy. Basically, it is like a fantasy themed readathon. This one is specifically an academy setting. I don't have my crew neck on right now because I've just been living in it for the last couple of days, so I'm giving it a little break and I'll be wearing it probably for the rest of the month. So there are 4 different realms or teams for this readathon, and it's a competition-based readathon, so you're working with your team to try to beat out the other teams. And any book that you read goes for certain prompts, and it can either increase your team's points or take points away from another team. And it's just really fun. I love this readathon so much, and all of the time and effort that Cassidy has put into this readathon has just made it so much fun in the past, and this year is no different. So if you haven't joined yet and you still want to, I mean, as long as there's still time left in March, you can still join. I think the first year that I learned about Realmathon, I think I joined like a week into March or something like that, or a week into the month, whenever it was, and I just had so much fun with it. So if you do want to join my team. I'm on team creation, so I'll leave all of that information linked down in the description down below. I'm coming to you with this intro, with this update, and I've already finished 2 books for Realmathon, which I'm pretty happy about. In February, I didn't read or finish a single book, so the fact that I've already finished 2 and it's only the first week of March, I'm pretty pleased with that. So the first book that I picked up this month was Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. This is a reread for me. It's one of my favorite books, and I haven't read it in a few years, and for some reason I was just thinking about this book a lot recently, and so I decided to pick it up. Yeah, it's one of my favorite books of all time, and I just love Frederick Bachman's writing in this and how he talks about humanity and the most beautiful parts of being human, as well as some of the most difficult parts of being an adult and having anxiety and stuff like that. So I just love it. I love it so much. So this book is 336 pages, and this year Cassidy did this thing where if you read bigger books, it can actually earn you more bonus points. So this falls into the category that would give me 10 extra bonus points, so I got 10 extra points for that. It's not a school setting, which also earns you bonus points, and it doesn't have a blue cover or an animal on the cover, which for my team would earn me extra bonus points as well, but that's okay. I'm a mood reader, I have to be, so competitive part of me wants me to earn as many points as possible, but the actual reader part of me that just wants to enjoy reading just wants to read what I want to read, so it's okay that I didn't earn these points. And then I had several prompts for this book. So the first one is extra credit, which is to read a book in multiple formats. So I followed along physically and read this physically, as well as listened to the audiobook for this, so that got me plus 2 points. Also, I used it for snack time, which is a popcorn read. So a popcorn read is a book that it's hard to put down. It's so much fun and just keeps you reading. You just keep on coming back for it like popcorn. So that got me plus 3. And then I use it for the prompt of Bribe a Teacher, which is a book you paid for. I paid for this, and that got me 4 extra points. And then the final prompt was to get an A+, which is a 5-star read. This is a 5-star read for me, so this got me plus 5. So when it's all said and done, all of the points I got for reading this was plus 24 to my team. And the other book that I literally just finished, and I still have to count my points for this, but I already know what I'm going to use it for, is Love and Other Historical Accidents by Pacific Rumbod. This is a Dramini fan fiction. Basically, they get thrown back 200 years into the past, and they have to kind of fix their time turner to get back to the present timeline, but they're 200 years in the past, so they have to act like they're from 200 years in the past, and it's just kind of a 2 idiots in love kind of story where they just don't realize it, and so it's very slow burn. This was a buddy read with my friend Mel from Mel Binds Fix and a bunch of other people. We do a fan fiction buddy read. I think it's every month. Anyways, this was for February, and like I said, I didn't finish a single thing in February. I wasn't able to get to this one in February, so I know our discussion, our buddy read discussion is later this week, so I tried to finish it before that discussion, and I did. This specific copy that was made for me by Mel is 425 pages, so that will get me an extra 20 points. I also used it for the prompt study group, which is a buddy read, because this is a buddy read, and that was an extra point. Extra credit to read a book in multiple formats, so I read along and annotated in my physical copy of it, but there is also an audio like podfic thing on Spotify where somebody has narrated the book. So I listened to that as well as followed along. So 2 different formats. That got me an extra 2 points. And Set Up Your Schedule, which was a required read. This was a required read for me because I needed to finish it before I did the buddy read discussion thing. So that was an extra 3 points. And then Switch Your Grade when the author uses a pseudonym. So this author, obviously this is not their real name, that's a plus 4 points. And so the total points for this one was plus 30 for my team, which I'm pretty happy about. Okay, so the next books that I'm going to pick up for this reading vlog, first of all, I did a poll pick on the Realmathon Discord and I gave 4 options. So I just put emojis though and didn't tell anybody what the books were. So the first emoji was like a little bird, and that was for Migrations by Charlotte McConaughey, which honestly, I recommended this in my reset vlog, but once I was talking about it, I just kind of wanted to reread it. And it's also a blue cover and it has animals on the cover. There's birds here. These are Arctic terns. They're very important to the book. So that was an option. I did the cross swords emoji, which was for Kingdom of Ash, which I am only 200 pages into my reread of that, so I have plenty left of that. And then I did a butterfly emoji, which was for Heartless Hunter because it has a moth on it. There's no moth emoji, justice for moths. But this also is a blue cover with an animal on the cover, so it would also get me bonus points. This was also a gift to me from my friend Christina because she knows that I'm having a bit of a tough time right now and just wanted to brighten my day a bit. So thank you, Christina, for this. I'm really excited for this one. It's an enemies to lovers fantasy romance between a witch and a witch hunter, and so I'm really excited for this one. And then the last one that I put on the poll was a little diamond, I think. I don't know why I picked that emoji, but it was for Blood Mercy by Bella Roth. But the one that got the most points in the time, or like the most votes in the time that I had it on that poll Discord thing, was Heartless Hunter. So this is going to be the next book that I read, but Migrations also got a lot of votes, so it was kind of between these two. So I'm going to read both of these. I am taking the day off of work tomorrow because I just really need it. So I'm going to spend the day reading. Brandon has to take my car because his car is in the shop, so I won't have any way to get anywhere, so I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving the house. So hopefully I can get lots of reading done tomorrow. But yeah, I'm going to be starting with Heartless Hunter, so I'm really excited for this one. Also have another package from the reading portal, which is my page overlays for A Court of Frost and Starlight, which I will be doing an unboxing / inserting them into my book like I did with A Court of Wings and Ruin. So I will put that in my b-roll here and I will tell you, if you haven't read it, it's probably going to be major spoilers, so I will tell you what time to skip to if you haven't read it yet. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this intro. Just wanted to welcome you to the vlog, talk about the 2 books that I have already finished for Realmathon, and yeah, just welcome you to the vlog. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you are participating in Realmathon already and that you are having a good time. If you are participating in Realmathon, leave an emoji down below to let me know what realm you're in, and you know, we can all still be friends even if you're not in team creation. But yeah, that's it for this intro. I'm gonna go now and I will see you in the next update. So it's Wednesday morning. It's almost 11 o'clock. I stayed home from work today, like I said, and when I woke up this morning, I decided to finally watch this movie that I had seen like little clips from on like reels and stuff, and I've seen it for like a few months, and I'm like, ooh, that sounds like an interesting movie. I should watch that. And then I never do. And today it came up again, and I was like, I'm gonna go watch that. So I started my day watching a horror movie. It's called Triangle. If you haven't seen it yet, I loved it. Like, it's going to be in my top 5 favorite horror movies that I've ever watched. I'm not a big horror movie person because I don't like a lot of gore, and that's what happens in a lot of horror movies. I feel like I also don't like to be scared that much, so it can't be too scary. So it's like a it's like a suspenseful kind of thing. It should be categorized as horror in my opinion, but like it's not like anything like, like Saw or anything like that. Anyways, I decided to watch this movie Triangle, and I absolutely loved it. And now that's like, first of all, that's all I can think about. I kind of want to just rewatch it, which like I'm not going to do. Well, no, I'm not going to watch it. But I might rewatch it either with Brandon because I think he would really like it, or with my friend Maggie because I think she will really like it. And we like watching horror movies together. And I hang out with Maggie tomorrow, and I've already asked her, like, are you in the mood for a horror movie tomorrow night? So I will be rewatching it at some point. Anyways, that's how I started my morning. And now all I want to read is like speculative horror and suspense and thrillers. I don't have any of those. That is not what I typically read. Very rarely, very occasionally, I'll pick up a thriller. I used to read thrillers more often, like a few years ago, but I've not read very many recently. I think I was on a thriller kick. When was that? Back in the fall sometime? I read like 2 or 3 in a row, and I was like, who is she? But yeah, I was talking to my friend Ashley from Ashley's Little Library because she reads lots of horror and thrillers and stuff like that. And obviously we know I read a lot of fantasy romance and things of that nature. And so I messaged her and was like, oh my God, I watched this movie. You have to watch this movie if you haven't seen it yet. And I told her, like, I'm going to pick up a thriller that she recommended years ago, and I've been saying I'm going to pick up. But she was like, oh my God, it's so funny because I've been reading fantasy and romance lately. She's currently reading Bride, which is like, she could be loving it and having a fun time with it, but it's like not her wheelhouse kind of thing. Like, I think it's just funny because we did like a Freaky Friday reading mood mind swap thing because I'm in the mood for horrors and thrillers and she's in the mood for fantasy romance, and it's just like, it's just really funny. It made me laugh a little bit because we always talk about how we have really similar reading tastes whenever our reading tastes overlap, because we're like a Venn diagram where whenever they overlap, we have very similar reading tastes, but we read vastly different things. So it's just funny that we're like, I don't know, just made me laugh. Anyways, I checked out the audiobook for The Island by Adrienne McKinty, which is the thriller that Ashley recommended years and years ago when she read it. And I'm like, oh, that sounds so good. I'm going to read that. And I never have. So the audiobook was available immediately, so I checked that out. However, I'm currently reading Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. Is that how you say that last name? I don't know. I'm 100 pages into that, and I'm really enjoying it. It's really good. It's just, now I'm in the mood for a thriller. So do I continue to read this one and just finish it because that was my plan for the day? Or do I just do what my mood is? It's not that I'm not enjoying this. I really am. It's just now I want to read like a thriller. I had intended to just like wake up and start reading, but all I've done was watch that movie and then like sit here and think about that movie for an hour. So yeah, anyways, that's my update for right now. I'm going to go try to decide if I want to continue reading Heartless Hunter or start the audiobook for The Island. I'll let you know once I decide. Okay, so I decided to read The Island by Adrienne McKinty because I wanted something kind of suspenseful, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to go with that. So I picked it up and I read it all in one sitting. So there is a prompt for reading it all in one sitting. So let's go over the prompts for the island. So it was 369 pages, which got me plus 10 bonus points because it falls into the category of 200 to 400 pages. Stayed up all night studying, which is reading it in one sitting. That is plus 1. I feel like reading it in one sitting should be worth more than 1 point, but I guess if I can do it, it's not that impressive, right? Extra credit, which is to read it in multiple formats. So I had the audiobook from my library, and then I also bought the ebook so I could follow along with it. So I had the ebook and the audiobook, so that's plus 2. New school supplies, which is a book new to your TBR. I mean, what is newer to the TBR than deciding to randomly read this book that I haven't thought about in years and then immediately picking it up? Nothing gets much newer to the TBR than that. Plus 2 as well. I'm also using it for snack time, which is a popcorn read, because again, it's just something that like I couldn't stop myself from reading, which like you can't stop yourself from eating popcorn. You just, all of a sudden it's all gone. So that's plus 3. And then the last one that I used for this was To Bribe a Teacher, which is a book you paid for. So since I bought the ebook for $2, I paid for it. That's plus 4. So a total of plus 22 points to team creation. I haven't attacked anybody yet, but I just feel like the prompts for the positive side of things are just fitting with what I'm reading. So I'm going with that. I also didn't get any bonus points for a blue cover because it's red and black and white. And then there's no animal on the cover. So no bonus points for that, but that's okay because that's what I wanted to read. So now I'm going to spend the rest of the evening reading Heartless Hunter. I am going to read this on reading sprints on Kristen Craves Books channel because she is my co-captain for team creation. If you didn't know, I will leave her channel linked down below, but hopefully you will have joined us for these sprints. But yeah, this is the book that I'm going to be picking up on those sprints. Those don't start for another couple hours though, so I probably am going to try to read a little bit before that, and then hopefully I can finish this on the sprints. We'll see. That's been my day so far, and it's been lovely. I do also want to shout out my friend Christina because she has just been very generous. She gifted me Heartless Hunter. I think I mentioned that in this video. But I also got a package last night and it was filled with 3 books, all gift wrapped from Amazon. So she got me the paperbacks of Ninth House and Hellbent, which if you watched my book unhaul video, I literally was talking about how I need to get the paperbacks of these because I'm a paperback bitch and all I want are paperbacks now. So I'm really excited to have these. I think that they're stunning and I love them. So now I can go replace my hardcovers of those and post those on my Pango. So thank you, Christina, for those. And then she also got me the paperback of A Sinister Revenge by Deanna Raybourn, which is the 8th? Yes, the 8th book in the Veronica Speedwell series. This came out last year. And I had bought the hardcover when it came out. And then this just recently came out in paperback and I added it to my wish list. And Christina got it for me. It's just so sweet, just really brightened my day. So thank you, Christina. If you haven't subscribed to her channel yet, I will leave her link down below as well. Definitely go check her out. Her reading vlogs are some of my favorites. I just love her so much. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have for you for this update. I am just gonna go put some of these books away now and I'm gonna go read for a little bit until Brandon gets home, and then I'll be on sprints later. So I'll see you in the next update.
Cassidy,
I'll allow it.
You'll allow that? Well,
Yeah.
we're dominating the sprints today. Me and Hannah are the platforms of creation. Animal lovers, show up.
Yeah, maybe pick like a bigger book.
Yeah, but you can't finish in time.
Have you heard of War and Peace? I heard that's good.
Oh, what's that? Like fanfic, the Draco one?
Oh, Manacled.
Isn't it like 1,000 pages or something?
Yeah, it's huge. All right, right, good morning everyone. It's been a few days since my last update. It is now Saturday morning and I have some things to update you on. So I did finish Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli and I really enjoyed this one. I think this is a solid enemies to lovers fantasy romance. It's definitely in that category between young adult and adult. There were times when I was like, it feels kind of YA, which I was okay with because I went in with that mindset. But then there were times when I was like, okay, it's definitely more new adult. So yeah, it's in that gray area. So if that is something that you're interested in reading, I would definitely recommend this one. I think the enemies to lovers was done really well because they're both kind of trying to use each other. She's trying to use him to get information to help save witches, and he's trying to use her to find out who the Crimson Moth is, and the Crimson Moth is her, but he doesn't know that, of course. And their tension is just really good because the way that this author wrote like the conflicting feelings of like, I don't trust you and I know that you hate me, but also I'm still kind of like falling for you. I thought that that was done really, really well, and I really liked the ending of this. Some of it, like, I mean, I predicted that it was gonna happen, but that didn't bother me, that I like figured it out, I guess, because I don't know, it was just really entertaining and I had a good time. I liked the writing. I will definitely be picking up the next book. So let's go over the points that I got for Heartless Hunter. So it's 404 pages, so that is plus 20 points right off the bat. It's also a blue book with an animal on the cover, so it's plus 10 for each of those, so I'm already at plus 40. And then I decided it's time to attack. So I've already got plus 40 points. I figured I would attack a little bit. I chose win a duel, which is more than one POV because you get Rune's point of view and Gideon's point of view, which was also really fun that you got to see both of their point of views. That is -1. Catch someone cheating, a new to you author, never read this author before, that is also another -1. And then poison a classmate, a book featuring death, because right away in the beginning of the book, we learn that Rune had to turn her grandmother in and she was like sacrificed for this crusade basically against witches. And so it deals a lot with death and like there's a lot of like killing witches. There's a lot of death. Next one, trip your opponent, a book featuring revenge. So again, Rune is kind of getting revenge because the Republic is like killing witches, and so she's trying to save them and also get revenge. And then Gideon also has been wronged by witches, and so he is like the captain of the Blood Guard or whatever they call it, and like he is out to capture and kill witches. So they're both kind of getting revenge, and that is another -2. So was the book featuring death. I don't know if I said that that was -2, but that was -2. And then the last one, seduce a rival, a book featuring romance, which is -2. So obviously this has a romance, a forbidden enemies to lovers romance. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see where the story is going to go from here because you know it's not going to end well for either of them when they find out the truth. So I also feel like if you were a fan of Powerless by Lauren Roberts, that you would also really like this because I think that they're not like similar in content at all, but it just reminded me of it, like maybe the writing style, or I don't know. I don't really know. But I just feel like if you liked Powerless, you would like this one as well. So when it's all said and done, I got plus 40 points for team creation, and then I did -8 points to attack another realm. I attacked shadows. Also, I have some spicy little intel from our queen Cassidy, and she has told us the team that is attacking our realm the most, and team creation has been attacked by shadows the most. So if you are on team creation, do with that information what you will. I got a little bit of vengeance. I mean, it was only -8, but what a tail wag. What's a little tail wag? Okay, so then after I finished Heartless Hunter, I decided to pick up Blood Mercy by Vela Roth. And unfortunately, I am DNFing it at 89 pages. I did not get very far in, but this is it's too much for me. I kind of knew that going in because everybody that has read this has said over and over again, it's very dense writing. It's very heavy writing. It's very heavy on the world and the politics, and I'm not sophisticated enough to read that kind of dense writing. I'm just not, okay? I just don't jive with that. I just was not enjoying this, and I made it a goal this year to do more of what makes me happy, and if a book is not, you know, capturing my attention or I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to force myself to read it. I'm not going to slog through it till it gets better. Like, I'm not going to do that. So I DNF'd it. I don't feel bad about it. I kind of knew that a little bit going into it, that it wasn't going to be for me. So I just wanted to give it a try because maybe I would surprise myself, but alas, I did not. Okay, so for today, I am going to host some reading sprints on my channel. They start in like 40 minutes. I've already got it all set up and ready to go. I haven't hosted reading sprints in a long time. I'm a little bit nervous, but hopefully it goes well. But I think I'm going to be reading Migrations by Charlotte McConaughey. I didn't plan to like reread this anytime soon until I held it up and recommended it in my March reset vlog. And then I was like, you know what? I might reread that. So I'm going to. So I've got a blue book and it's got animals on the cover. It's Arctic Terns. If you haven't heard of this book, it has a lot to do with the migration patterns of Arctic terns. And it's really, really good. I know that might not sound super fascinating to some of you, but the story itself is so incredibly beautiful and I just love it so, so much. I'm really excited to reread it. So I'm going to start with this one today. So anyways, those are the reading plans for today. I'm going to host those reading sprints in a little bit and hopefully get some good reading done. But yeah, I'm going to start with Migrations and then we'll go from there. Oh, aren't you sweet? What? I love you. So yeah, that is going to be it for this update. I will see you all after I do those reading sprints and we'll see how far I got into Migrations. Okay, it's Sunday now and I'm on Tori's reading sprints right now and I just finished Migrations. I know I didn't give like a very clear synopsis of this book, so I'm gonna attempt to do that now without like giving things away. But basically we follow the main character Franny and it's told in dual timelines. So in the present timeline, she is trying to follow the last migration of the Arctic terns. So in this book, in this setting, it's many years in the future. Climate change has killed off many species and there's not very many animals left in the wild anymore. And it's just like pretty devastating actually. And so she has always been fascinated with birds and these Arctic terns. They make the longest migration from the Arctic to the Antarctic. And scientists believe that this is going to be their last time that they'll be able to make this migration. And so she wants to follow them. That's basically what she's doing in the present timeline. She tries to get a hold of a vessel that can manage the trip from where she's from, originally Ireland. So she wants to follow these terns down to Antarctica. And then the past timeline is kind of showing how she like met her husband, who was an ornithologist, and like why she got so fascinated with Arctic terns and just kind of like the things leading up to where she is now, because in the present timeline they kind of hint at something that happened in her past. She's got a bit of a darker past and it's a little bit mysterious, so you're trying to figure out like what's going on there. And so then it's a dual timeline telling the story of like how she got to where she is now, and then also following these Arctic terns. And just the way that it talks about like conservation and wildlife and how humans have become like extremely destructive and have destroyed so many habitats and so many species already. It's just kind of devastating and harrowing, and the way that Franny thinks about wildlife and thinks about birds and like just the way that she is just like really beautiful. And the writing in this is just so stunning. A lot of it can sometimes remind me of Sally Rooney's writing. If you like Sally Rooney and you haven't read this yet, maybe give it a try. But yeah, I loved my reread of this, and I decided to annotate in it. I wasn't originally going to annotate anything in it, but once I started reading, I just kind of had to. Like, I literally read the first page and I was like, what if I just highlight a little bit of this? So I did annotate in this one. I just really love this book. It's a 5-star read for me. So let's talk about the points that it earned me. So it's 254 pages, so that was plus 10. Also a blue book, light blue, so that's plus 10. And then there are Arctic terns right here. I don't know if you can see them, but there are birds on it, so that's another plus 10 because creation. And then I decided to use this as an attack. So the prompts I used for attack was poison a classmate, a book featuring death. There's a lot of death featured in this. Death of the animals, like mass extinctions, and then there's also like death of certain characters and stuff that is talked about. So that was -2. This next one's a bit of a stretch. Seduce a rival, a book featuring romance. This is not a romance, okay? But it does talk in her like past timeline about how she met her husband and like how they fell in love and why they fell in love and stuff like that. So it's like, is it romantic? Not really. I mean, some things that they say in here are like romantic, but like it's not a romance, but it features a romance kind of. So I'm counting it -2. And then detention, 1-word title, -3. Cut Class and Spy, a book that was featured in a HOHOSTS Realmathon video, and Cassidy said that we could include it if it was featured in our own video, which I did talk about this in my reset vlog, so I'm counting it -4. And then the last one that I'm using for this book is Lock Someone Out After Curfew, an isolated setting. So in the present timeline, she is on this fishing boat for the majority of that timeline, so that's a pretty isolated setting. So -5, so that total points for this gives me +30 to team creation, and then -16, and I am going to attack team time because I attacked shadows last time. I just want to kind of disperse it about, so I'm attacking team time. If you didn't watch Cass's first reading vlog for Realmathon, she mentioned that team blood is actually in last place this week, so there's that. Overall, a pretty successful start to Realmathon. I've read 5 books. I've earned a lot of points for my team, and I have attacked just a couple times. Not too much. Don't worry about it. I'm really having a good time with Realmathon, and it's very motivating to keep me reading. And I set up like my TBR for the rest of the month and like things that I want to pick up, and a lot of them are blue books and a lot of them have animals on the cover or both, which earns me bonus, like double bonus points. So I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, this is gonna be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you are participating in Realmathon and what team you are on, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.